My dear child, as you lay in the quiet of your thoughts, a gentle voice whispers from above. It is the voice of a loved one, someone who has walked before you, now watching from the gates of heaven. With warmth and peace, the voice speaks to you. My dear, I see you. I see the path you're walking, the struggles you're facing, and the questions that weigh heavily on your heart. But let me tell you something from this place of eternal light. Your days are not wasted. Every moment, every breath, every step, even the ones that feel uncertain, are part of a plan far greater than you can see. I know you worry. You wonder if the decisions you're making are the right ones, if the efforts you're putting in will ever bear fruit. But from here, I see it all clearly. You are doing more than you realize. Your kindness, your perseverance, your love, it echoes through the lives of those around you, even if you can't see the impact just yet. Do you remember those times you fell and got back up? That strength wasn't yours alone. It came from the one who never lets go. God is with you, guiding your hands, your feet, and your heart. Even when the world seems dim, His light shines through your spirit. You carry that light, whether you feel it or not. Heaven watches over you. We see the beauty in your soul that you sometimes forget. So lift your head, walk boldly. Know that the plans God has for you are good, even when the road seems winding. You are loved beyond measure, not just by those here in heaven, but by the one who created the stars. So, don't give up. The best is yet to come. Your story is still unfolding, and it's more magnificent than you can imagine. And with that, the voice fades, leaving you with a sense of peace, a quiet reassurance that you are not alone, and that heaven is cheering you on every step of the way. Share this video to your friend and family if you love God. The presence lingers for just a moment longer, a warmth that fills the space around you. Then the voice speaks again, softer now, as if coming from deep within your own heart. You see, dear one, time here is not as it is for you. While your days may feel long and sometimes filled with unanswered prayers, from here I see how everything is perfectly woven together. The trials that seem so heavy now will one day be your greatest testimonies. Every tear, every struggle has its place in shaping who you are becoming. There is no wasted pain. Even in the darkest valleys, you are being molded into something beautiful. And as you walk through these moments, you are never alone. Heaven is nearer than you think. The angels are surrounding you, and God's hand is always upon your life, even in the moments of silence. I wish you could see how heaven celebrates every small victory you make. Those quiet moments of courage when you chose to love instead of hate, to forgive instead of hold a grudge. It may feel insignificant to you, but from this view, those are the moments that light up the heavens. Your heart, though weary, is still beating with purpose. I need you to remember this. God has already written the ending to your story, and it is beautiful, full of hope, redemption, and a joy that will far outweigh the sorrows you've endured. So, when you feel lost or uncertain, hold fast to the truth that you are held by a love so deep and wide that nothing on earth could ever separate you from it. When you wake up tomorrow, or when you're walking through the mundane parts of your day, know that you are seen. We are watching, cheering, and rejoicing with every step you take. And even when you feel like you've strayed or stumbled, you are still on the path God has laid out for you. There is no mistake too great, no detour too far. So, carry on. Keep your eyes lifted. Know that the same God who spoke the stars into existence is holding your life in his hands. Trust him, for he has promised to never leave nor forsake you. Your days are precious, and every one of them is leading you closer to the fulfillment of all that he has for you. The voice fades once more, leaving an unmistakable sense of peace within your heart. As you sit in that stillness, you realize that this wasn't just a passing thought. It was a promise from heaven that you are known, loved, and cherished, and that every moment of your life is guided by the one who knows your beginning from your end. Heaven is not far. It is with you always. In the quiet, as the message from heaven slowly settles into your soul, there is one final whisper, a voice filled with deep love and wisdom that transcends time. My beloved, there is something else you need to know. It is about the love that surrounds you, the love that you so often overlook. You are not only loved by heaven, but by those you have touched, even if they have not spoken it aloud. Your presence in their lives is a gift of grace, compassion, and strength. Do you remember those times when you offered a kind word to a stranger or helped a friend in need? Those moments were not small. They were heaven's way of working through you. Every time you choose to show love, no matter how small the act, you are reflecting the light of God in a world that desperately needs it. But hear me when I say this. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't have to be perfect. Heaven doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for your heart. And your heart, dear one, is more than enough. Even when you feel inadequate, when the world tells you that you need to be more or do more, heaven whispers that you are already complete in the eyes of your Creator. There is a love so deep, so vast, that it covers all your imperfections, your fears, and your failures. God doesn't see you through the lens of your mistakes. He sees you through the eyes of his unending grace. You are his child, and nothing can change that. When the burdens feel heavy, when you feel like you can't take another step, remember that you don't have to walk this journey alone. Jesus has already walked it for you. His footsteps are beside yours, and when you are too weary to walk, he carries you. Trust in him. Rest in him, and as you move forward, know this: heaven is not some far-off place, reserved for when your days on earth are done. Heaven is here, in the quiet moments of peace, in the beauty of a sunrise, in the laughter of those you love. It is woven into the fabric of your everyday life, a constant reminder that you are never far from God's heart. So let go of your fears. Release your worries. Trust that your days are guided by a love that knows no bounds. You are covered by grace, surrounded by mercy, and held by the hands of the Almighty. No matter what comes, you are safe in his arms. And when the storms of life come, and they will, remember that heaven is always watching over you, praying for you, and ready to give you the strength to rise again. You are never alone, not for a moment. Go forward with the assurance that heaven's love will never fail you, that God's plan for your life is good, and that the best is yet to come. You are more than enough. You are loved beyond measure, and your days are held in the hands of the one who is faithful, always. With those final words, the voice from heaven fades into the distance, but the peace it leaves behind remains. You are filled with a quiet confidence, a deep knowing that whatever lies ahead, you are guided by a love that is eternal and unwavering. Heaven is with you, and you are never alone. Drop an amen if you're believing God today. As the voice from heaven fades, you find yourself enveloped in a deep and calming peace. Yet, within that stillness, there's a stirring, a gentle nudge, as if heaven is urging you to take this message to heart, not just for this moment, but for every day that follows. The voice continues once more, though it now feels like it's coming from within, echoing in your very soul. My beloved, now that you know you are never alone, I want you to carry this truth with you. You are stronger than you realize. The same power that raised Christ from the grave lives within you. Every challenge you face, every trial you endure, is met with the strength that comes not from your own willpower, but from the Spirit of God that resides within you. The world may try to tell you that you are weak, that you are not enough, or that your struggles define you. But let me tell you what heaven sees. You are a warrior, forged through the fires of life, strengthened by each battle you've faced. You are resilient, more than capable of overcoming what lies ahead. Do not fear the uncertainties of tomorrow, for you are held by the one who has already conquered the world. When you feel overwhelmed, remember that you don't need to fight your battles alone. God is your shield and your defender. Lean into Him. Call upon His name in times of trouble, and He will answer you. But there is more. You were not just created to endure hardships. You were created to live a life of abundant joy, peace, and purpose. Heaven rejoices when you find moments of happiness, no matter how small. Whether it's the warmth of the sun on your face, the laughter of a friend, or the quiet moments of reflection. These are heaven's gifts to you. Reminders that God's goodness is woven into every part of your life. Joy is your birthright, and though life may bring storms, you are meant to dance in the rain. Let your heart be open to the beauty that surrounds you, to the blessings that God pours into your life daily. Don't let the weight of the world keep you from experiencing the fullness of the life you've been given. And when you stumble, and yes, there will be moments when you falter, do not dwell on your failures. Heaven does not. Instead, rise again, knowing that each time you do, you become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little more like the person God intended you to be. Remember that your life is a tapestry being woven with divine precision. The threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and trial, all come together to create something beautiful. What you see as unfinished or imperfect, heaven sees as a masterpiece in the making. So, my dear one, continue to walk forward with faith, not because the road is always easy, but because you walk it with a God who never leaves your side. You are part of a grand story, one filled with purpose, love, and hope. Keep moving forward, knowing that heaven's hand guides your every step. And when your heart grows weary, come back to this place, this moment of quiet assurance, where you are reminded of how deeply you are loved, how fiercely you are protected, and how bright your future truly is. You are never forgotten. You are never forsaken. Heaven is with you now and always. The voice grows still once more, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of love and assurance. And as you sit in that presence, you know with all certainty that you are walking a path illuminated by divine grace. Every step forward is filled with purpose, and heaven is rejoicing in your journey. The best is yet to come, and you are exactly where you need to be. Type yes if you are ready for it. As the presence lingers, a new awareness begins to settle within you. It's as if heaven, in its infinite love and wisdom, wants you to know one final truth. The voice returns, not as a distant whisper, but as a quiet, steady assurance within your heart. Beloved, now that you understand how deeply you are loved and how powerfully you are held, there is one more thing heaven wants you to embrace. You have a purpose that goes beyond what you can see. You were not placed on this earth by accident. Every breath you take, every choice you make, plays a role in the greater plan that God has for this world. You may feel small at times, as if your actions go unnoticed, but trust this: your life has eternal significance. The kindness you show, the love you give, the truth you speak, they ripple out in ways you cannot yet fathom. There are people whose lives you are impacting every single day simply by being who you are. You may never fully see the fruits of your labor while on this earth, but know that heaven sees. And every act of love, no matter how small, echoes in eternity. Do not underestimate the power of your presence in the lives of others. You carry within you the light of Christ, and that light shines brightest in the darkest places. When you smile at a stranger, when you offer a word of encouragement, when you extend grace to someone who may not deserve it, those moments are infused with the power of heaven. They are seeds planted in the hearts of others, seeds that will one day grow into something beautiful. And let me remind you, your purpose is not tied to what the world measures as success. It's not in titles, achievements, or wealth. Your purpose is found in love. To love and to be loved. To reflect the heart of God in everything you do. That is why you are here. You are a vessel of divine love, placed in this world to be a beacon of hope, peace, and grace to those around you. There will be days when you question your path, days when the road seems unclear, and you wonder if you're truly making a difference. On those days, return to this truth. God's purpose for your life is unfolding, even in the moments that seem ordinary or mundane. His plan for you is good, and it is far greater than anything you could imagine. When doubt creeps in, when you wonder if you're enough, remember this: heaven doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for your heart. If you surrender your life into God's hands, He will take the pieces you offer and create something more beautiful than you could ever dream. You were created for greatness, not as the world defines it, but as heaven does. Greatness in love, in humility, in faith. Greatness in trusting God even when you cannot see the way. Greatness in being a light in the darkness, a voice of encouragement, and a vessel of peace in a chaotic world. And do not worry about tomorrow, for God is already there. The future that you fear is safely held in His hands. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to trust the one who does. So, beloved, rise each day with the knowledge that you are here for a reason. You are part of a divine story, one that is still being written. Your life matters, your voice matters, and your love, more than anything else, matters. Carry this truth with you, always. You are chosen, you are loved, you are seen, and you are enough. Heaven celebrates you, and God delights in every step of your journey. The best is still ahead, and you are walking in the light of His perfect plan. As these final words fill your spirit, you feel a new sense of purpose awakening within you. The doubts that once lingered seem smaller now, overshadowed by the enormity of God's love and the certainty of His plan. You are ready to walk forward in faith, knowing that heaven is with you, guiding your every step, cheering for you in every moment. And as you rise from this sacred space, You carry with you the unshakable knowledge that you are never alone. You are loved, you are purposed, and you are seen by the one who holds the universe. And with that, you step boldly into the days ahead, knowing that heaven itself is watching over you every step of the way. As you rise from that sacred moment, your heart feels lighter, yet stronger, as if a burden you've carried for far too long has been lifted. The warmth of heaven's message still lingers, and it carries you into the days that follow. Though life resumes its rhythm, its ups and downs, its challenges and triumphs, there is now a quiet, unwavering certainty within you. Each day feels more purposeful, more connected to something greater than yourself. You no longer feel like you are drifting through life. Instead, you walk with intention, knowing that heaven is guiding your every step. In moments of doubt, you hear the soft echo of that heavenly voice within your soul, reminding you, you are enough. And so, when the world demands more from you, when it tells you that you must achieve more, be more, or do more, you now know the truth. You are already more than enough in God's eyes. You are His masterpiece, perfectly loved as you are. As you move forward, you notice something different about how you interact with others. The truth of heaven's message has changed not only how you see yourself, but how you see the people around you. You begin to see them through the same eyes of grace, kindness, and love that heaven sees you. The small moments, those brief encounters with strangers, the casual conversations with friends, the quiet smiles exchanged in passing, they no longer feel insignificant. You realize that each one of these moments is an opportunity to reflect the love of God, to be a light in someone else's day, just as heaven has been a light in yours. When you see someone struggling, you no longer feel powerless to help. You remember that the simple act of being present, of offering a kind word, or of showing compassion is powerful in ways you may never fully understand. You are a carrier of hope, a vessel of peace, and every time you extend that to another person, you are living out your divine purpose. And when life throws storms your way, and it will, you face them with a new kind of courage. The winds may howl and the waves may rise, but your foundation is firm. You are anchored in the truth that you are not walking this journey alone. The God who commands the seas walks beside you, calms your fears, and strengthens your heart. No matter what comes, you know that you are held, and that even in the fiercest storms, there is beauty to be found. You learn to trust in the process, even when you can't see the whole picture. There will still be days when you feel uncertain, when you don't know what the future holds. But instead of being consumed by fear, you choose to rest in the promise that God has already gone before you. He is preparing the way, and all you need to do is walk in faith. With this newfound strength, you begin to dream again. The dreams that once seemed too big, too impossible, now feel within reach. Not because you have all the answers or the perfect plan, but because you trust that God's plan for your life is greater than anything you could imagine. And so, you step forward, knowing that each dream, each desire has been placed in your heart for a reason. You may not know where the path will lead, but you know who is leading you, and that is enough. As time passes, you notice that something remarkable is happening. The peace that was once fleeting now feels constant. The joy that felt out of reach now fills even the most ordinary moments. And the love that heaven spoke over you has taken root deep within your soul. It flows through you effortlessly. touching the lives of those around you in ways you may never fully understand. The voice from heaven no longer feels distant. It is always with you, a gentle reminder of the truth that has transformed your life. You are chosen, you are loved, you are purposed, and you are never alone. And so with each new day, you walk boldly into the life that has been given to you, not because you have everything figured out, but because you trust in the one who does. You face each challenge with courage, each victory with humility, and each encounter with love, knowing that heaven is watching over you, guiding you, and rejoicing in every step of your journey. The best is still to come. And you, beloved, are exactly where you are meant to be, held in the hands of a faithful God, walking in the light of His love and living out the beautiful story He has written just for you. As you continue to move through life, that divine message becomes more than just words. It becomes the foundation of how you live, breathe, and interact with the world. Days come and go, but something is different now. Each morning you wake with a sense of expectation, a quiet anticipation that something sacred is woven into every moment, every breath. The truth from heaven has sunk deep into your spirit, shaping the way you see everything around you. You notice how the small things hold greater meaning than before. The sunrise isn't just the start of another day. It's a reminder that God's mercies are new every morning, that each day brings fresh grace. The laughter of loved ones fills your heart with joy, and even the quiet moments alone are not lonely. They are filled with the presence of a God who never leaves your side. There are still challenges, of course. Life doesn't suddenly become easy because of the truth you've embraced, but now you face those difficulties with a new sense of strength. When doubt creeps in, when fear tries to take hold, you remember heaven's voice. You are never alone. Those words, once a whisper, have now become a constant echo in your soul. Even in the hardest moments, when it feels like the weight of the world is too heavy to bear, you remind yourself that you don't have to carry it alone. God's strength is your strength. His peace is your peace. And when the burden feels too great, you lay it down at His feet, trusting that He is always with you, always for you. In this new awareness, you begin to see life differently, not as a series of events you have to navigate on your own, but as a journey you walk hand in hand with your Creator. The uncertainties that once filled you with anxiety no longer have the same power over you. You've learned to trust the process, even when you can't see the outcome, because you know that God's plan for your life is perfect, and He is guiding you every step of the way. You also begin to notice how your presence affects others. Heaven's message has not just changed you, it's changing the way you impact those around you. The peace you carry becomes contagious. People are drawn to the light within you, often without knowing why. You are no longer just going through the motions. You are living with purpose, with a heart open to the leading of the Holy Spirit. In moments of kindness, you sense God's love flowing through you. In times of listening, you hear His wisdom guiding your words. Even in moments of silence, you feel His presence, reminding you that you are never walking alone. You become more aware of the divine appointments in your life, those seemingly random encounters that are actually orchestrated by God for a greater purpose. And as you continue forward, heaven continues to speak, not always in the same profound moments as before, but in the quiet nudges, the subtle reminders. You might be walking through your day when a thought comes to your heart. Keep going. You're on the right path. Or perhaps you'll hear the soft assurance during a time of uncertainty. Do not fear. I am with you. These whispers are no longer strange or unexpected. They are a natural part of your walk with God. You've come to trust them, to lean on them as you navigate the seasons of life. And with each step, your faith grows stronger, your trust deeper, and your love for God more profound. People begin to see the change in you too. It's not something you can quite explain, but they notice the peace that radiates from you, the quiet confidence that no matter what happens, you are secure. You have become a reflection of the truth you've embraced, that heaven is always near, that God's love surrounds you, and that your life has a purpose beyond what you can see. Even in the darkest of times, you find yourself anchored in this truth. When storms come, and they do, you no longer face them with the same fear. Instead, you remember the words heaven spoke over you. You are strong, you are loved, and you are never alone. These words have become your lifeline, your refuge in times of trouble. You no longer see hardship as the end of the story, but as a chapter in the greater narrative God is writing in your life. And as time passes, you find yourself more and more attuned to the voice of heaven. It's no longer something you strain to hear. It's a constant presence, a guiding light in the depths of your soul. The more you listen, the more you realize that heaven has been speaking to you all along. Every sunrise, every act of kindness, every challenge overcome, it has all been a part of God's conversation with you. You now understand that life is not about arriving at a destination, but about walking this sacred journey with God. The days ahead will have their own challenges and victories, but you no longer fear the unknown. You trust that you are exactly where you are meant to be, walking with the one who knows the beginning from the end. The best is truly still ahead, not because everything will always be perfect, but because you are never alone on this journey. Heaven is with you, God is guiding you, and every step you take is filled with purpose, love, and grace. As you look toward the future, you do so with a heart full of faith, ready for whatever God has planned. You know that, no matter what comes, you are held in the hands of a faithful God who has promised never to leave you, and that is more than enough. As you continue forward, the days begin to blend into a rhythm of trust, faith, and grace. Each step, each decision, is made with a quiet confidence that the path you're on is divinely ordered. You find that even when unexpected turns come your way, they no longer fill you with anxiety or uncertainty as they once did. Instead, you welcome these moments with an open heart, knowing that God's hand is in every detail, even in what you cannot yet understand. You notice that your prayers have changed too. They are no longer filled with the same urgency or pleading, but with a calm assurance that God hears you. You've come to realize that prayer is not just about asking for things or seeking answers, but about resting in God's presence, being still, and trusting that He knows what you need before you even ask. Now your prayers are often filled with gratitude, thanking God for the journey, for the lessons learned, and for the unseen blessings that are still on their way. As this understanding deepens, you begin to see your life as part of a much larger story, one that stretches far beyond your own experiences. You realize that the same God who watches over you is the God who watches over all of creation. The beauty in nature, the love shared between people, the moments of peace that interrupt the chaos of the world, all of it is a reflection of His presence. And so, with each day, you start to live with greater intentionality. You understand that your life is not just for you, but for the people God has placed in your path. Your actions, your words, and your love become instruments of His grace. You become more attuned to the needs of others, sensing when someone needs encouragement or simply a listening ear. This awareness leads you to offer compassion and kindness in ways that feel natural, as if God Himself is speaking through you. At times, you may still feel the weight of the world pressing in. After all, life is full of challenges, and there are days when you feel stretched thin. But now, you face those moments differently. When you feel overwhelmed, you return to the truth that has become the bedrock of your soul. You are never alone. God is with you. These words have become more than a comfort. They are a declaration of your faith, a reminder that the Creator of the universe is also the keeper of your heart. Even in your most vulnerable moments, you know that God sees you, and that gives you the strength to keep going. You no longer fear weakness, because you understand that in your weakness, God's strength is made perfect. You allow yourself to be human, to feel deeply, and to trust that God is working through even the messiest parts of life to bring about His perfect plan. And there are moments, beautiful, sacred moments, when you feel a sense of peace that surpasses all understanding. It comes quietly, often in the midst of ordinary days, but when it does, you recognize it for what it is, a reminder from heaven that you are exactly where you need to be. You feel connected to something greater than yourself, something eternal. And in those moments, all the noise of the world fades away. You realize that this is what it means to walk in step with God, to trust not only in the big, life-altering decisions, but also in the small, seemingly insignificant moments. To know that He is present in every detail, orchestrating your life with love and care. This realization gives you a new sense of freedom. Freedom from worry, from striving, from the need to control. You are free to simply be, knowing that your life is held in the hands of a loving Father. As this freedom takes root, you find yourself dreaming again. Dreams that once felt out of reach now seem possible because you know that with God, all things are possible. You no longer feel limited by your own abilities or circumstances because you trust that God is the author of your story and His plans for you are good. You begin to pursue these dreams with boldness, not because you have all the answers, but because you know that God is leading you every step of the way. And through it all, there is joy, deep, abiding joy. A joy that isn't dependent on external circumstances, but rooted in the knowledge that you are loved, seen, and held by God. This joy becomes your strength, carrying you through the highs and lows of life, reminding you that no matter what comes, you are secure in His love. As time goes on, you find yourself more at peace with the mystery of life. You no longer need to know all the answers or have everything figured out, because you've come to trust the one who does. You are content to live in the present, fully engaged with the people and moments in front of you, knowing that God is taking care of the future. You may not know where the road will lead, but you know this: God is with you, always, and that is enough. You are enough just as you are. Loved beyond measure, purposed beyond what you can see, and held in the hands of the Almighty. As you continue on this journey, you carry with you the quiet assurance that heaven is watching over you, guiding you, and cheering you on. And with that knowledge, you can face anything, knowing that the best is still yet to come. As the days unfold, you settle into this new reality, a life lived in constant communion with heaven, where every step is guided by an unseen hand, and every breath is filled with purpose. The truth that once seemed distant is now as close as your heartbeat. It's a truth that grounds you in peace, lifts you in moments of doubt, and fills you with a joy that surpasses all understanding. You begin to see that Amen if you agree. Like this video if you believe in God. Subscribe this channel for more videos.